Ethical versus unethical marketing. The Advertising Regulatory Board, the ARB, shows that businesses act in a legal and ethical manner when they advertise their product or services. The Independent Broadcasting Authority Act, the IBA, gives the ARB legal recognition and therefore the rights to develop and implement a code of advertising practice with which all advertisers have to comply. Factors influencing the buying decision. The stimulus response model of the buyer's behavior. This is by Philip Kotler. The first step is that the buyer receives a stimulus. This is influenced by external factors when making the buying decisions, such as your 7 P's of marketing, your economic, political, and technological elements of PESTA. Step 2 is where the buyer processes the stimuli. Now, with this step, it has different steps. So, step 1, the problem is recognized. So the buyer becomes aware that he or she has an unfulfilled need, or that the product or service that currently meets that need may soon have to be replenished. Step 2 is that they search for information that the customer needs. So here the customer may consult with friends or family or acquaintances, salespeople, etc., or even own knowledge based on previous experiences to gather information. Step 3 is to evaluate the different alternatives. When different alternatives are considered, the consumer may consciously or subconsciously use different antennae. Then the consumer then makes a purchasing decision regarding what to buy. So this decision is influenced by the product choice, the brand choice, the retailer choice, when to buy the product, and how much he or she will spend. Then step 5 is considering your personal characteristics, your psychological factors, social factors, and the economic factors under PESTA. Step 3 under the response model is post-purchase. So post-purchase behavior will be based on the customer's experience when the product is used. Unsatisfied expectations lead to negative feedback and experience, while satisfied needs and expectations lead to returning customers or future purchases. So this part is negative, neutral, or positive. Factors that influence a buyer's decision. They are classified under psychological, socio-cultural, and economic. So the psychological factors is motivation, perception, where one's perception is influenced by your beliefs, and attitudes. This refers to your experiences regarding past experiences. Then socio-cultural factors. This is very cultural, and for family, for instance, depending on the size of the family, this may impact a buyer's decision. Social class, the living standards measures of a buyer will impact their purchasing decision significantly. And personal factors is where one's personal situations will impact your buying decision. Then the economic factors are things such as your interest rates. If the interest rate has increased and a customer is in debt, then they will have less disposable income to spend. While the exchange rates means the import and export of goods is affected by the exchange rate, and this will hence affect the price of the good being sold. Branding. The brand is the impression that employees make when interacting with customers and the reputation of the buyers. The brand tells people what is special about a particular business and what sets it apart from the competitors. Developing a strong brand is part of strategic management and should be driven by top management. When a business decides what is, where it wants to go, and how it wants to get there, it also has to formulate a value statement. The value statement describes what the business represents and its core beliefs or philosophy. Now there are 3 forms of trademarks. We have the manufacturer's trademark, where the same trademark is used to market all products under this trademark. Then the individual trademark is, for instance, Nestle, where they manufacture a wide a variety of products, and it is well known that some of these products come from Nestle. Then the retailer's trademark, such as Pick and Pay, is a no-name brand. Brand extension and brand stretching. Brand extension is where an existing brand is used to launch a new product in the same or related market. Brand stretching refers to a situation where an existing brand is used as a platform to launch a product into an unrelated market. The advantages of a strong brand from the company's perspective is that it helps the consumers identify the product on offer. The consumers feel safer and reassured when buying a popular brand, as they would be familiar with the quality or features of well-known products. Some brands have the attraction of prestige or strategy for customers. Then from the marketing perspective, a brand name becomes known to the public as a guarantee of quality, and this helps the business to advertise the product, which increases sales. The business could probably charge more for a successful brand than when an unknown brand is sold. An established brand name makes it easier to add new products to the range, and brand perspective can also help the business to dominate a certain share of the market. Important factors that are critical to creating a brand value or building a brand. When people hear a particular brand name, they're associated with certain or different impressions. These impressions have been formed in the minds of customers and becomes the reality for the business in terms of what the brand represents in their minds. So, innovation is everything that the business does should be aimed at reminding the target market about the factors that distinguishes the business from the competitors. These are things such as your functionality of the product, the packaging of the product, delivery and distribution of the product and or service, and the pricing structure. Clear identity is that the brand should represent something unique to the customer. The customer should have a clear picture of whether the brand represents quality or value for money. Trust. The customer trusts what the business is saying based on past experience. It should have a distinctive voice, so the brand has strong values and communicates clearly what it stands for. The brand has to be memorable. A distinctive voice also means that the business has distinctive ears, because communication is not monologue anymore. Social media acts as a link between the customer and the brand. And it needs to have a relationship with the customers. The customer has to feel that there is a strong relationship between him or her and the brand, because the brand is something he or she can associate with, and that it delivers what is needed and desired. Service marketing. So this is your people, process, and physical evidence. People. It is important to remember that anybody who comes into contact with your customers will have an impact on them. This could have a profound effect on the customer's level of satisfaction received from the business. The business's brand and reputation rests in the hands of the people. Therefore, the business needs to ensure that the correct level of training and motivation are given to ensure these people have the correct attitude. It is vital for the business's success to ensure that all employees who have contact are clearly trained for the job. Evaluation needs to take place consistently to ensure that there is no performance gap that exists. Process. The process of giving service is crucial to the level of customer satisfaction received. So issues such as waiting times, information given, and helpfulness of staff is very vital on the success of the business. Process in the business should not be overlooked. A customer trying to reach the business by phone is a vital source of income and returning value, but often customers are left holding before they even get through to the correct person, or that the wrong information is given by employees who are not trained correctly. And if the business wants to be successful in the future, that obviously has to stop. Then physical evidence means buying something intangible that could be seen as risky. This uncertainty could be reduced by showing the potential customer what they're buying. So physical evidence helps to demonstrate and confirm the assumptions of customers. Ethical versus unethical marketing. The principles of ethical marketing is communication with common standard of honesty or truth, consumers treated fairly based on the nature of the product, marketers should comply with regulations and standards as established by governments and industries, codes of practice industry in South Africa should be adhered to, and the business needs to comply with international standards and best practice. Types of unethical marketing is, for instance, exaggeration, where false claims about the product quality, quality are given. False brand comparison, surrogate advertising, these are the laws preventing marketing of certain products. Using subjective rather than objective claims, using children in adverts, such as exploiting the innocence of the youth, and materialism, creating false needs. Franchising. Franchising is a contract or agreement between the franchise, so this is the supplier or the parent company, and the franchisee, meaning the distributor or individually owned businesses. The franchisee agrees to distribute the product or service in line with certain predetermined terms and conditions set out by the franchisor. Franchising from a marketing point of view. The franchisor sells a business package which is already successful to the franchisee. The franchise they will then sell the product or service to consumers in a particular area. This helps increase market awareness of the original product, and therefore every franchise that is sold markets the overall business in terms of making it more visible and prominent in the mind of the consumer. The franchisee agreement allows for the payment of, firstly, the original purchasing price of the franchisee to the franchisor, the royalties of 5% to 10% paid to the franchisor, and monthly advertising fee that the franchisor uses for marketing or advertising on behalf of all franchisees. Then, in the marketing point of view, when the franchisor decides to sell franchise, it is important to allocate a lot of time to train the franchisee. During the initial training, the franchisor will train the franchisee on systems and procedures, but the training has to come as a form of support to the franchisee, because the success or failure of the brand is determined by the success or failure of all individual franchisees. The franchisor must have a well-defined marketing strategy. This strategy, while focusing on the target market, must keep on reminding the consumer about the brand positioning and the advantage of the product or service in order to franchise to create and maintain a competitive advantage. Advantages and disadvantages of franchising from the franchisee and franchisor's point of view. The advantages from the franchisee's point of view is that the franchisee has a good chance of success because he will benefit from the success of the franchisor. The franchisee has access to advice from the franchisor. The franchise agreement offers the franchisee legal protection. Franchisees often work together to solve problems or buy stock in bulk as their businesses are so similar. Then from the franchisor's point of view, the franchisor can expand his business quickly without a large capital outlay. Franchisees will be more committed to making a success of the business than they would be as managing or running a branch. Than they would be as managers running a branch, as they are working for a profit rather than earning a salary. Staff problems, because each entrepreneur running his franchisee is responsible for his own recruitment. Disadvantages. The franchisee. The cost to establish the franchise is usually very high in the franchisee. The cost to establish the franchise is very high. Then the franchisee still has to pay the monthly royalties. The entrepreneur could find it frustrating and limiting to stick to the strict prescriptions of the franchisor. Some franchisees may not continue to give the support initially promised. And then from the franchisor's point of view, the franchise may find it very difficult to keep training and giving assistance to all franchisees. Administrative duties involved in collecting royalties and controlling the brand may become a